The moment the words left my lips, the world seemed to still, not because of their sharpness, but because of the unbearable weight behind them, years of buried doubts, quiet sacrifices, and the ache of a life I wasn't sure I ever truly chose. My husband, James, the man I had once vowed to walk beside forever, stood across from me in silence. His face gave nothing away, but the air between us had shifted, thick with something neither of us could name. And I stood there like a stranger inside the shell of my own life. I should have stayed with him. I whispered. The words weren't meant for James. They were for me. A confession long overdue, one that clawed its way up from the depths of regret and finally spilled free. But once they were out, they hung in the room like smoke, suffocating and impossible to take back. James didn't speak. He didn't flinch. But in his eyes, I saw it all unravel. Everything we'd built, every silent compromise, every shared morning coffee and unspoken hope, weighed against one truth. I had never truly been his. Not fully. The man I married, the man who gave me stability, safety, devotion, he no longer felt like home. And in that moment of sharp clarity, as my chest hollowed and my heart cracked open, I understood something I had buried for years. I had chosen the wrong man, the one who had loved me without question, who made me feel seen and alive, had slipped through my fingers long ago. And I'd let him go, not because I stopped loving him, but because I was afraid. I chose certainty over fire, security over connection, and now it was far too late to go back. It hadn't started out with betrayal. It began with confusion, with innocence. I was young when I met Mark, before James, before this house, before the weight of being someone's wife settled on my shoulders. Mark was like lightning in a dark sky. He made me feel real, raw, human. There was no filter with him, no roles to play, just us. He understood me in a way that felt effortless. When he looked at me, it wasn't with expectation or judgment. It was with recognition. But life pulled me elsewhere. My family adored James. He was dependable, gentle, the kind of man who made sense on paper. He had a good job, a steady nature, and never raised his voice. He was everything you're told to look for. So I convinced myself that the kind of love Mark offered, wild, consuming, unplanned, was just a fantasy, a beautiful mistake, and that what I needed was something solid. So I said yes to James. I smiled at our wedding. I carved a place in his world and tried to make it mine. And for a while, I believed I could grow into it, that maybe love could be built, that with enough time, I could feel for James what I had once felt for Mark. But some things can't be forced, and the heart doesn't always cooperate. I never stopped thinking about Mark. Not constantly, just in flashes. On quiet mornings when James would leave for work. On long drives through the city. In songs that reminded me of a night sky, and a pair of hands that once made me feel whole. I told myself it would fade, that everyone has their what if, but it didn't fade. It waited. Then came David. I didn't expect him. I didn't want to feel anything again. But David saw me, not the version I'd learned to perform, but the parts of me I'd almost forgotten, the messy, aching, wondering parts. And suddenly, I was back in that same whirlwind, seen, heard, wanted. But this time, I couldn't let myself fall. Not again. I had James. I had a life. I tried to bury it, tried to stay faithful in every sense. But David showed up when I was unraveling, when the silence between James and I had grown too loud to ignore. And when David said my name like it mattered, I forgot how to pretend. It was never physical. But emotional? My heart betrayed me long before my words did. Mark had moved away years ago. We'd said goodbye in a coffee shop, promising to keep in touch. But we both knew we wouldn't. I told myself it was closure, but my soul didn't believe it. And now, standing in this house with James, it all felt like a cruel echo of decisions I made to please everyone but myself. One night, while James was away on a business trip, I found myself scrolling through my phone, mindlessly. That's when I saw it, a message from David. Simple, honest. I miss you. I never stopped loving you. It was like being struck by lightning all over again. All those years I'd spent telling myself I was happy, pretending contentment was enough, crumbled in the face of one message. And it wasn't even David's fault. He wasn't trying to lure me away. He just reminded me that I'd been missing something so fundamental. I had forgotten what it felt like. So when James came home, I told him. I looked into the eyes of the man who had loved me with his whole being, and I said the one thing I knew would break him. I should have stayed with Mark. He's the one who truly loved me. The silence that followed was unbearable. James didn't ask why. He didn't get angry. He just stood there, still and hollow, as if my words had stolen the air from his lungs. I gave you everything, he said at last, his voice low and raw. And he truly had. But love given isn't always love returned in the same shape. What I gave back was a version of myself molded by guilt and compromise. I loved him, but not in the way he needed, not in the way he deserved. I don't know how to fix this, I said, choking on the tears I could no longer hold back. But the truth was, we were past the point of fixing. That night, James walked out. He didn't take anything, not even his coat. He just left, and I haven't seen him since. Now the house feels too still. The silence stretches from room to room, and my phone no longer lights up with messages. Mark is a ghost in another city. David never came back. He didn't want to be the other man. I don't blame him. There's nothing left now but me and the choices I can't undo. Sometimes I wonder if I could go back, if I'd do it differently. But the past doesn't offer do-overs. It just lingers, like smoke in your lungs, like an echo in an empty room. I broke the heart of a man who never stopped trying to love me. I let go of the one who made me feel alive, and I chased a feeling I wasn't brave enough to claim when it mattered. Regret isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It sits quietly beside you every day, reminding you of what could have been. It curls up in the corners of the life you built, whispering truths you wish you could unhear. I thought I was choosing the right path. I thought love could grow from duty. But the heart knows, and now I live with the ache of knowing I had it, and let it slip away. The only love I have left is the love I lost,